Well, I hope you all had a wonderful Memorial Day, especially when watching a new episode of American Dad and new episodes of Craig of the Creek. Today's reviews on the Craig of the Campus and Bernard of the Creek episode parts 1 and 2 of Craig of the Creek. In the Craig of the Creek episode, Craig of the Campus, Craig tries to figure out where Kenneth, the first king of the creek, hid the rest of his cubes of the heart of the forest until Bernard calls him as they go for a ride to get ice cream. Unfortunately, they don't get ice cream, but end up going on a tour at the University of Hercleton, which Craig was so not happy about. Once Bernard parked his car in the parking lot, Craig angrily beats the stank out of Bernard since his big brother promised ice cream. His big bro said that he will get him ice cream as long as Craig does not embarrass him. Craig angrily says never as he took his shirt and hooded vest off while holding a bottle of soap in his left hand. Craig is still not happy to the point that Bernard angrily tells him that everyone is looking, and Craig responded by saying good, like he wanted everyone to look, and he did not care. Craig was so bored out of his mind that he looks like he is about to fall asleep. He doesn't understand why Bernard thought that he would enjoy the tour since he's 10 in the prime of his youth. Bernard asks Craig what the 18-year-old version of his future self is going to do. Move into the creek? Craig said yes, while living under a rock with lots of ice cream. Then Bernard asked him about his friends. Like, are they going to be joining him? As life is not about sprinkles and hot fudge, it needs a plan for the future. Craig sees Kenneth and runs after him, and Bernard runs after Craig to look for him until he enters a classroom where students are taking the exam. A male teacher forces Bernard to have a seat, which he does. I don't know why Bernard would sit down since he is not a student there yet. All he had to do was tell the teacher that he is looking for Craig and is not the student the teacher thinks he is. If the teacher was still going to get upset, that is on him. Bernard is nervous and has a hard time taking the exam. Craig finally catches up with Kenneth and they talk while having ice cream. Bernard failed the exam and the teacher mistaken him as Wazowski. Bernard tries to explain, but the teacher cuts him off and says that he is not cut out for college. Who does that? The boy is trying to explain, and here you go just rudely not giving a damn, and you just cut him off. What's up with that teacher? You not getting enough sleep? He need to get his ass together. Craig asks Kenneth if he knows where he can find the rest of the cubes. Kenneth doesn't know since he gave them to his old pals years ago. Craig asked him if the heart of the forest will help Craig from losing his friends. Kenneth understands his pain and told him whatever happened when he found the heart of the forest. After that, Craig found Bernard lying on the bench. Bernard does not like how hard college is and hates it. Then Craig tells him what Bernard told Craig, that life isn't always sprinkles and hot fudge. Craig gives his big bro ice cream sandwich, but it melted out of the wrapper and splattered on Bernard's blue jeans, leading Bernard to be even more depressed. Craig and Bernard then head home. In Bernard of the Creek Part 1, Alexis, Bernard's girlfriend, is worried about him since his college tour. The council meetings that he would show up, he was in his pajamas. After Craig finishes his chores, he is on his way to the creek, but Bernard desperately wants to go to the creek with his little bro to get his mind off of college. And then I love how Craig did the whole, from Gary Coleman's character, Arnold Jackson from Different Strokes. What you talking about, Willis? Well, that's what Craig did when he said, what you talking about, Bernard? I loved it. Bernard is going through a midlife crisis and college has mentally gotten to him. Craig takes Bernard with him and Bernard is happy. And then Bernard talking about, I didn't even have to put on pants. Kelsey asks Craig where Bernard is because according to JP, that is not him. Craig doesn't know what's going on, but it's creeping him out. But on the bright side, Kelsey and JP like the new Bernard, and JP thinks he's. Then Craig cuts JP off to not say COOL, and Omar does. Craig freaks out and tells Omar to take it back as Craig shakes him. I like the happy Bernard myself instead of the snobby at times jerk Bernard. Everyone are having a great time, and I love the moment where Craig and Bernard are on top of the hill during the evening time, sitting down while looking at the sunset. and they're just happy. And Bernard puts his arm around Craig. It's just great. Little bro, big bro love. The next day, Craig and Bernard head to the creek as their parents Nicole and Dwayne are shocked to see their sons going to the creek. At the creek, Bernard gets a text from Alexis to pick her up at the airport at 3. Bernard is no longer interested in college and would rather be a pro bring out your beast player. Craig, Kelsey, and JP gave him an applause for it. A kid named Turner wants a rematch with Bernard, but Bernard unfortunately lost, and Turner calls him old, and the rest of the kids of the creek laughed at him. Wow, I feel bad for Bernard. Kids are so cruel. Got the nerve to call him old and then they laughing at him. F y'all. Bernard is going to the airport to pick up his main squeeze. Until he turned around. Bernard, what about Alexis? You have to pick up your girlfriend, remember? Oh, this isn't good. Alexis won't like this. Bernard returns to the creek wearing a new outfit, gloves, and sunglasses. He confronted Turner by saying, Turner! Bring out your beast! Hell yeah! Man, he got me hyped when he said that. Get him, Bernard! Ooh, I love this new Bernard. He said it with such power. Bernard was like, I will not be defeated! He defeated Turner, but then he defeats the other kids as if he was becoming evil. Well, at least he's got his revenge on the other kids for calling him old and laughing at him when Turner defeated him. So there. Even Bobby was disgusted when he threw up in his backpack and he said, my backpack. Yeah, not his candy. Not his candy. He said, my backpack this time. So then Alexis shows up. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Bernard's in trouble. No. Bernard started saying, Alexis? And she was not happy. I have never seen Alexis so pissed off. She's so upset that she says yes, and she stuttered like Bernard saying, Alexis. Oh. So Bernard asked her how did she know that he was at the creek. She thought something bad happened to him, which I'm not surprised. I mean, the guy was supposed to pick her up, but then he turns around to go get revenge on Turner. So she called his parents, and that is how she found out that he was at the creek. Boy, I bet Alexis, when she found out, she was like, are you kidding me? Alexis says that they need some space and leaves as soon as it rains. Oh yeah, it just had to rain when she's furious with Bernard. Craig comes running to hug his big bro, but Bernard cries and runs away. Bernard then runs into the remaining elder of the creek. That's right, Mark, since Barry and David left him. And then he freaks out saying, it's pouring! Dude, you realize it's raining, right? You had your hoodie over your head. Or unless you thought that it was raining, but you didn't think it was like pouring. Whatever. Anyways, and now, Bernard of the Creek Part 2. Craig, Kelsey, JP, and Omar pay Mark a visit. And they hear a familiar voice. It is Bernard. Craig thought this whole time that Bernard was crying in his room due to Alexis dumping him. Bernard responds by saying, Alexis didn't dump me! Like, what are you talking about? Bernard's hair is different and he has peach fuzz. Mark showed him the way that snacks, games, and friends are all you need. Mark asked Bernard if he would ever wrong him. Bernard just says, I don't know, I just met you. When Bernard said that, it made me think of Wilt from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Like I visualized Wilt saying that. I mean, it makes sense since the legendary Phil Lamar is the voice of Bernard and Wilt and other characters he's voiced throughout his wonderful, amazing career of voice acting. JP believes that Bernard is happy. Kelsey thinks it's great that he is hanging out with someone of his own age. Craig feels weird about it. Later that night, Craig wants macaroni and cheese, but Nicole tells him that the dishes have not been washed, along with the other chores not being done. Nicole tells him that no one goes to the creek until the chores are taken care of. The next day, Craig tells Bernard that he needs to do the chores. Bernard says, what's the point since the dishes are going to get dirty again and the trash will get full again. So Craig ends up doing the chores. Bernard, the point of washing the dishes and taking the trash out, the point is to keep the house clean, neat, and tidy, and to prevent the house from getting rats and roaches. Come on, Bernard. I know you're going through a slump, but this is ridiculous. Later that night, Craig waits for him while wearing a pink robe, which I'm pretty sure obviously belongs to his mother. And It was so funny. I mean, Craig was talking to him as if they're in a relationship. Like Craig's the wife and Bernard's the husband. It was so funny. So then Craig calls for intervention. The next day, Craig leaves a trail of pizza rolls, leading Bernard to the living room for the intervention. His friends and Alexis are sitting on the couch. Craig could not believe what he was about to say, but he believes that his big bro is spending too much time at the creek. The former elder of the creek, Barry, is at the intervention as he has been Mark free for 3 months. Bernard responds by saying, "I don't know you." Barry tells Bernard that Mark thinks he knows best, but he doesn't know how to be a friend. Bernard is surprised to see Alexis since she wanted some space. She said that just because she wanted some space doesn't mean she doesn't care about him, which is true. Ever since he has been hanging out with Mark, he stopped caring about his future, family, friends, and worse, his hygiene. Yeah, Bernard, seriously, you can't go around stinking, okay? You need to smell good. Alexis likes that, okay? Females like when guys smell good, and guys like when females smell good. Bernard just wants to have fun. Barry has a way to get Bernard back to his old self. At the creek, Craig challenges Mark to the Alpha Challenge. If he wins, he will be the Alpha herd of Elder Rock, and Mark and Bernard will have to do what he says. But it is Alexis who is going up against Mark. As Mark is about to win, Bernard realized that it is okay to have fun, but not when it hurts the people you care about. Mark thinks it's so stupid, so Alexis disarms him. She wins, and Craig withdraws his challenge. Bernard apologizes to Alexis, and she forgives him since she understands his pain. She suggests that they take a break. Bernard responds by saying, "Wait, what?" I know, right? But she meant taking a break together. She didn't mean like taking a break as in they're breaking up like Ross and Rachel in Friends, because that was a whole misunderstanding. But no, she was just talking about they just need to just have some fun. So Bernard takes care of the chores first before going to the festival with Alexis. And he's going to wear the cape he has been wearing since he ran into Mark. So those were my review on those Craig of the Creek episodes. I enjoyed those episodes of Craig of the Creek because obviously I really enjoy seeing the happy side of Bernard. I feel bad for him that college got to him mentally and it's hard, and he just wanted to have fun. He just wanted to feel like a little kid again when it came to him going to the creek. So it was cool for him to go to the creek, hang out with Craig. The little brother, big brother moments were great. It was cool to see Barry again. Hopefully we'll see David again in the future. And poor Mark. I mean, I feel bad for the guy because he's alone and Barry and David ditched him. But that's what happens when he doesn't know how to be a good friend. So shame on you, Mark. You need to step it up if you want to get your friends back. But anyways, those were the episodes. Tell me your thoughts.